This is where BBC Two breaks with its usual overnight routine to join Barry Norman live in Los Angeles for the film industry's most glittering night of the year.
Good morning and welcome to Los Angeles, where the 68th Academy Awards ceremony is about to start here at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion. Now, this is the moment when I like to appear omniscient by grandly predicting all the big winners. And in the past, with films like Forrest Gump and Schindler's List, this has actually been quite easy. But this time, there are no clear favourites. Even the bookies in Las Vegas are constantly hedging their bets. Well, that makes things much more interesting. We could be in for some big surprises, so let's all settle down and just see what happens. I'll be back in a little while. And hello again. Well, congratulations to James Aitchison, commiserations to Tim Roth. Well, now, just to fill you in on tonight's or today's ceremony, it comes to you not only from the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion, but also from Dre's restaurant here in West Hollywood. This whole place has been taken over by Columbia Pictures for a party which they, and I'm sure all of us, hope will turn out to be a celebration of the, fingers crossed, imminent Oscar successes of Sense and Sensibility, which has 7 nominations. Well, 1 down, 6 more to go. Altogether, Britain has 21 nominations this year, including, since we're talking about Sense and Sensibility, Emma Thompson, who's pulled off a unique double by being nominated both for Best Actress and Best Adapted Screenplay. Then we have Anthony Hopkins for Best Actor and Michael Radford and Mike Figgis for Best Director, and so on. I don't think, realistically, we can hope for too many actual Oscars. After all, this is essentially an American event, and most of the 5,000 or so Academy of voters are American, so when push comes to shove, it's reasonable to assume they'll be supporting the home teams. But as I said, it's a wide open field, and if, for instance, Babe wins Best Picture, as a lot of people in Hollywood think it might, well then, pigs can fly and anything is possible. Mind you, the favourite for Best Picture is Apollo 13, partly because it celebrates an American triumph over adversity, and partly, no doubt, because it's the only all-American movie among the 5 nominees. As a matter of interest, other favourites, according to the bookies, are Mel Gibson for Best Director, Nicolas Cage for Best Actor, and Susan Sarandon for Best Actress. Okay, that's enough background. Now let me tell you about this programme. You know, if you watch the Oscars ceremony on TV in America, it sometimes seems to consist of a load of commercial breaks surrounded by a bit of a show. So in these commercial breaks, we'll have interviews with some of the 20 British hopefuls, and from time to time, I'll be joined by the likes of Ian McKellen, Alan Rickman, Tracey Ullman, and Ewan McGregor to chat about what's coming up and what's happened so far. Anyway, that's something to look forward to over, I don't know, the next 3 hours, 3 days. Oh, sorry. Now, by the way, the next time she pops up, do check out the necklace and earrings that Whoopi Goldberg is wearing. $4 million worth, I'm told. Not hers, though. She's just borrowed them for the night. How nice to have friends who can lend you baubles like that. Well, with me now, I've got Tracey Ullman, resident of Hollywood, wearing...
About $100 worth.
$100?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was at least $1 million worth of rubies you got there. How are you enjoying the show so far?
Good, good. It's a little lackluster. I'm hoping a streak is going to go across, or a black protest or something, but... So what did they do with Braveheart for makeup? They painted a guy's face blue. I mean, please. And Gloria Estefan, that song, it sounded like Turkey's entry for the Eurovision Song Contest. I've forgotten it immediately. I like Bruce Springsteen, Dead Man Walking.
Yeah, that's your bet.
That's my pick. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
What about the next category up? Because we've got Nick Park, you know, the animation.
Beth, Wallace and Gromit. I watched that all day long with my kids, yeah. He's won twice, though. You think they might have to give it to someone else this year?
Well, this is the problem.
Mickey Mouse.
There's a big Disney film, a Mickey Mouse, a new Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse original.
7-minute Mickey Mouse cartoon, which cost $11 million. Now, God knows how much Nick Park spends.
Nick with a bit of plasticine in his Bristol studio or something.
Yeah, I know. But he had the most remarkable record so far, because he's only made 4 films, and every one of them has been nominated. You know, and,
he's amazing. And would you try and ring him up, as my husband did, and say, would you like to do something for us? He's like, well, I do something about once every 3 years, and I just like to sit and fiddle with plasticine, thank you. He's terribly shy and retiring.
Yes, it is, yeah.
You think you would have Wallace and Gromit toys in FAO Schwartz? He's obviously not an opportunist.
No, he's not. No, if Disney took him over, God knows what would. No. Listen, you were here last year because, well, you weren't quite nominated last year, were you?
No,
Diane
I
Weiss
haven't
was.
been nominated though.
No, but Woody Allen, who Bullets Over Broadway, he's here again. What do you fancy? What do you think of his chances?
Not for me this year.
No?
I must admit, no. I like the Pig movie. I want Babe to win. I don't like Braveheart because I hate when Mel gave that classic Australian director's direction, throw the big puff out of the window. Don't you just hate it when he throws the homosexual out the window? It's like, please, it's a classic Australian right-wing guy's direction, Barry.
And in a politically...
So for that, I hate it.
Yeah. Well, in a politically correct town like LA, that wouldn't have gone down too well, would it?
Oh, no, they wanted cheering and stuff. And also, Mel looks a bit like he's been spending a lot of time in the Edinburgh gym for me.
Yeah. Oh, and I can see, you obviously have the same reaction to Braveheart as you had last year to Forrest Gump. You didn't
don't talk about... You remember us last year with Forrest Gump?
I do remember you last year with Forrest Gump.
Drove me mad, yeah.
Haven't really recovered from that.
No.
But Braveheart is it's got 10 nominations. It's already won something. I mean...
Yeah. Paint the guy's face.
It's much too early to say that, it could clean up, but there's sort of early indication that maybe it's going to walk away with quite a few awards.
I don't know. I think Babe will win Best Movie somehow. I just do. But that's easy saying that being an English person because maybe everyone wants the big American movies. But Apollo 13 it's good, but it's not like The Right Stuff. Remember Philip Kaufman's The Right Stuff? That was extraordinary. It's a good American movie, but it's not for me.
But it is amazing how difficult it is to predict this year. No.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's no Schindler's List. There's no some conscience movie or anything like that. No, it's an odd field this year.
Right. Well, what is the reason? What is the reason for that? Do you think is it because there just weren't very many good films made last year?
It was an odd year. Yeah, it wasn't. As I say, there was no conscience movie. I know it was a mediocre year, really.
Yeah, it was.
It's a bit lackluster.
It's a lovely widespread this time, though, isn't it? From Babe at 1 into Apollo 13.
The one movie I haven't seen is Dead Man Walking. I get sent all the tapes because I'm in the Academy, and I haven't seen that. And I've voted for Sean Penn's Sight Unseen because I love this.
I'm afraid we've got to cut you off there, Tracy. We've got to get back to the
Bye-bye, Dogs and Insomniacs.
Well, that's a great result, I think, for Nick Park. The only one of his films that hasn't won an Oscar was beaten by another one because they're both up in the same year. Anyway, getting back to this party here, there's a tremendous amount of interest because in the next batch of awards, Kate Winslet of Sense and Sensibility is up for Best Supporting Actress. Now, she first came to people's attention last year as a murderous teenager in Heavenly Creatures, and now, still only 20, here she is with an Oscar nomination. She plays Marianne, younger sister of Emma Thompson's Eleanor, and we talked to her on location in England last year.
As soon as I got my hands on the script, I was just going, I have to be that person. I have to play Marianne. I have to.
I probably made up my decision the first sight I saw her. She's a thrill. She is Marianne.
No, Edward, listen. No voice divine the storm allayed, no light propitious shone. When snatched from all effectual aid, we perished each alone. Can you not feel his despair? Try again.
Marianne is the kind of person who's just like, well, this is what I think. And Ellen is the kind of person who goes, well, this is what I think, but actually I'm not going to tell you because it's going to hurt if I do.
I suppose I have erred against decorum. I should have been dull and spiritless and talked only of the weather or the state of the roads.
No, but Mr. Willoughby can be in no doubt of your enthusiasm for him.
Why should he doubt it? Why should I hide my regard?
So much of Sense and Sensibility in the adaptation is funny. You know, it's really very funny. Even in the most disturbing and emotional moments, there's an element of humour.
Please don't say anything important.
Go on.
Did you see him? He expressed himself well, did he not?
With great decorum and honour.
And spirit and wit and feeling.
And economy. 10 words at most.
I do have moments of just going, what on earth am I doing here? You know, what on earth am I doing here? I'm with all these absolutely amazing people, and it's so unreal sometimes. I feel so lucky. I really do feel so lucky.
Well, I hope that luck she was talking about there continues. Before we talk about Kate Winslet, you were very well pleased by the last results as well, weren't you? Because Christine Larty is a mate of yours.
Yeah, she's a friend of mine who decided to do some directing, put that piece together, and it's just wonderful to see a woman on a directorial debut get an Oscar. It's thrilling. And her husband, Tommy Schlomme, is a terrific director. He's directing my show, Tracey Takes On, the series that I'm doing right now in America. So they're a lovely couple. Mates, darling.
So it's been a good evening for you.
Yeah,
so
Nick Park, yet again. Unbelievable. He's got to make some Wallace and Gromit toys.
Very quickly, though, what about
Yeah.
Kate Winslet? Do you think that she's got a chance in this next gallery coming up now?
I voted for her. I think she's fantastic. I loved Heavenly Creatures, and I think she's extraordinary, but I don't know. Who else is there? I think she really deserves it, actually. I hope it's not Mira Sorvino.
For
doing a Mickey Mouse impersonation.
We're going to find out any minute now.
Okay.
Wasn't that glorious? Paul Sorvino weeping there. One of those marvellous, sentimental Hollywood moments. Sorry for Kate Winslet, though. Anyway, the two big surprises among the nominations for Best Film this year are Il Postino, which I'll be talking about in a minute, and Babe. Babe, I mean, a film about a piglet that wants to be a sheepdog? Come on, give us a break. But it's won 7 nominations and deserves them all, because it's a remarkable mixture of live action and clever animatronics, many of the effects having been created at the Jim Henson Studio in London. Here's how the movie came about.
Sorry to disturb you, but it's nearly dawn, and I wondered if you'd mind crowing just a few minutes early this morning. Get out of here. But, well, see, I just... Get lost. Oh, okay. Oh. Whoa, what? Oh!
I was flying to London, and in the middle of the night, I turned on the audio and was listening to a children's program in which a woman was reviewing children's books. And she started to review this book about a pig that became world champion sheepdog. And she started to laugh during the review, and she laughed in such a way I thought this must be very special.
Now, Pig, regarding the company you keep. Being young, it's hard to discriminate, so I'll make it easy for you. I forbid you to talk to or consort with that duck. Never. Have I made myself clear?
What's consort?
For the film, we trained on 970 animals. And we'll say in the case of Babe, there was 48 piglets to play the part of Babe. There was several female dogs and several male dogs playing the part of Rex and Fly. There was more than 24 ducks in training to play the part of Ferdy. So all the animals had different doubles. And for the puppies, we had something like 24 puppies to play the part of 6 puppies.
On your mark.
We can just
Mark.
put in a few more, because as we pan through,
Stay.
it's sparse from the
Stay.
white man on.
Stay.
Good pig.
Got that phony look
Stay.
again.
No need for all this woke nonsense, young'un. All a nice little pig like you need do is ask.
Thanks very much. It was very kind. A pleasure. What a nice little pig.
Right, well, so much for Babe for the moment. Well, we shunted Tracey Ullman out of this chair here and replaced her with Ian McKellen, whose film, Richard III, had 2 nominations, did it not? Yeah. Not successful, alas.
Well, successful with the critics and with the audiences.
No, I meant the nominations.
Oh, I see.
No,
Are we talking about the Oscars? Oh, I didn't know why we were
in a
here.
little while. Yes, we're talking about the Oscars.
No,
Talking about the Oscars, what do you make of the show?
Well, it's a theatre show, isn't it? That's the odd thing. That here we are celebrating cinema, and on TV we're watching a theatre show, and the hit so far is Stomp. You know, nothing to do with movies at all.
That's quite true.
And I think it's quite intriguing to watch those presenters and nominees who win, who are at ease with being in public. The film stars lean forward, you notice, to talk into the microphone to make sure they really can be heard, whereas the actors like Pierce Brosnan, who strode magnificently across the stage, did you notice that? And Jeremy Irons, they knew where they were because they liked the theatre. Yeah. It's the rest of them are very nervous. I think that explains why this show's so popular, that it's a bit of theatre.
Maybe they ought to do it in a film studio next time.
Oh, that'd be better still, yes.
Anyway, back to the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion. Well, the party behind me is getting a little bit subdued at the moment because Sense and Sensibility ain't doing too well. And if I had to predict, I think it looks like being Braveheart's night. But now back to Ian McKellen. Let's clear up the misunderstanding of the last chat. I wasn't saying that Richard III was disappointing. I think it's a terrific movie.
Good.
And I don't know whether you're aware of this, but you yourself missed the last nomination for Best Actor by 2 votes. You were pipped by Richard Dreyfuss. Did you know that? It's our mine of information.
Well, that's, I don't know whether that's wonderful to hear or really depressing. Well, I wish you well.
Well, yes, I suppose you would. Yes, a gentlemanly thing. So,
I tell you, I'd rather be alive without a nomination than dead with one.
well, there's always that. Yes, yes, certainly. Yes, talking Massimo Tracey, you mean? Yeah, indeed. I ought to know this, but at this stage of the night, my mind's getting a bit odd. Have you ever been nominated for an Oscar?
No, no. I've never played a part that might be nominated for it. No, I've got other awards tucked away and sitting out on the terrace.
Oh,
This is the big one, or thought to be. I don't know whether the English view it like that, but here, I mean, there is no underestimating the incredible importance of an Oscar.
Yeah.
Not so much in terms of a person's ego, person who gets it, but for the film in question. It means we're talking about millions of dollars potentially effect on the movie. It doesn't work like that for me. I mean, when I see someone going up and collecting an award, doesn't it necessarily want to see the movie? I'd like to see who was that gentleman whose daughter won and was crying. I'd like to see.
Pavilion,
I'd like to see him. I go and look at him.
Yeah.
But
well, he was very good in Nixon, incidentally.
Yes, that's
yeah,
right.
He was.
I think it's just wonderful publicity, and it's odd, isn't it, that a whole industry should be organised around this lottery, allowing the chance of an Oscar nomination, the chance of winning. Those odds, meaning something for your product, is very odd.
Yeah, we'll talk more in a minute, Ian. Okay. All right, well, that was a nice little tribute there to Gene Kelly. Right, well, now we're about halfway through the ceremony, so how are we doing so far? Well, by my reckoning, 11 British nominees have been up, and we've won 5 Oscars, which is not at all bad. Anyway, Ian, getting back to what we were talking about. We were talking about Richard III. I'm plugging this movie for you, but is it true that you actually mortgaged your home to get it made?
You're joking. No,
Oh,
I
good.
didn't do
Oh,
that.
good.
I gave back my salary in the last 3 weeks in order to pay for a day of the battle, but
Yes.
no, I wouldn't mortgage
You're not
my
that
home.
mad.
No. But it's a pity, isn't it, that films don't get properly financed, and for another extra million from somewhere, dollars, we could, I don't say done a better job, but we'd have done it a little bit easier, and people would have been properly paid.
Yes.
But no, I didn't mortgage my house.
You didn't mortgage your house. I'm very relieved to hear that. Yes, yes. Now we were talking earlier too about winning the best Oscar, but it is very important, surely, to an actor, because your price goes up. I would imagine that the kind of roles you're offered get better.
Yes, but there's only one a year, and one in your lifetime if you're lucky. So it's not something you can bank on. But they are totally obsessed with it here. I mean,
Yes.
When I was not nominated, I got more calls, I think, from people apologising or commiserating than if I'd actually been nominated. And then when I agreed to do my next film, the director, Brian Singer, said, "Don't worry, this is the year you win the Oscar." Before I've even begun to talk about how I'm going to play the part. So it's all a bit of a nonsense, but quite pleasant.
And it's certainly around here. I mean, it's almost hysterical, isn't it?
Yes.
The interest it goes on. And I love this. It's got to be a fiction that this Oscar show is watched worldwide by 1 billion people. Well, 1 billion people is almost 1 in 5 of the world's population. And I find it hard to believe that 1 in 5 Chinese, 1 in 5 Indians, 1 in 5 Bosnians are now sitting down wondering, is Babe going to win Best Picture?
Well, do you think the Bosnians are ticking off how many awards they've won tonight? I don't know. How many are watching at home?
At this point,
half
I
a
know
million or
2 men
something
and a dog. No, I would think, yes.
Well,
it's
I mean, if I were
respectable.
in London, I'd be watching.
Yeah.
Why not? Yes, it's. Oh dear. Let's talk about something else.
Well, yeah, we ought to, I suppose, talk about Oscar, since it is Oscar night. Have you ever been to the actual ceremony?
No, but I've been enough ceremonies to know that it's extremely boring. I mean, what perhaps people at home don't realise is that whilst we're talking here, or the Americans are watching their commercials, there's nothing happening in the auditorium. So this wonderful stage show suddenly stops, and everyone goes out for a cigarette or a drink or a line of Coke or a chat with their friends. And when they go out, substitutes are brought in to sit in their places, and suddenly the stars are replaced by their stand-ins. People who go to the Oscars feel it's a bit of a bind to have to go, unless, of course, they win. That's the crucial thing.
Yes, if you win, it must be a little bit special if you win. Do you have any particular favourites? Anybody you would, from now on in, for the rest of the show, that you would like to see winning?
Well, like everybody else who has a vote, which I don't, I hope my friends will win.
They being?
Jonathan Price very sweetly sent me a note having seen Richard III and said, wonderful performance, you're absolutely spectacular. Of course, I won't be voting for you for the Oscars because he was going to vote for himself. And then you vote for your friends, and if you're talking about friends, I hope Susan Sarandon wins. I mean, I think she's a great actress, and in Dead Man Walking, which I don't think is opened yet in London, she opens up her soul magnificently, and Sean Penn too as her co-star.
Well, we'll see fairly soon now. Yeah. We're just back to Oscar. Well, I wish him a quick recovery from that stroke. Now, you'd think, wouldn't you, that Il Postino should have been among the nominees for Best Foreign Language Film. I mean, it's in Italian, which is certainly a foreign language to most Americans, except maybe members of the Mafia. But somehow, astonishingly, among its 5 nominations is one for Best Picture, and that's the first time in 22 years that a non-English language movie has been so honoured. The feeling here is that aggressive marketing by Il Postino distributors Miramax accounts for this phenomenon, plus perhaps the fact that it was directed by Britain's Mike Radford.
Well, it's about the encounter between Pablo Neruda, the poet, and his postman. What the story is about is a man who discovers himself through poetry, discovers love and politics and everything, and finally becomes a whole man through poetry. Metafore. And it's the meeting of a man and his mentor, and how he learns to stand on his own 2 feet. There's Massimo Troisi, who was one of the great stars of Italian cinema. He's very funny. He was a comedian, made low-budget comedies, and wanted to make a different kind of a picture. Well, Massimo had always had heart problems since he was a small boy, and they suddenly got very much worse. And he collapsed in the first week of shooting, and it became evident that he needed a transplant. And I asked him not to go on with the picture, although in my heart, of course, I wanted him to go on. And he asked me how he was, and I said, "Tu sei strepitoso," which means, "You're fantastic." He was very, very courageous. I had him for about an hour a day. I could use Massimo for 1, 2 takes maybe, but because he was a comedian, his timing was great. So, and I really, what I did with him was to turn a comedian into an actor.
Beatrice Russo.
Sí, muy bien.
You know, this movie has proved to be very commercial, I think, because although it's about poetry and politics and stuff, it's also about love, and it makes you laugh, and it makes you cry. And I think those things people go to the movies for.
And now we come to the award which the Sense and Sensibility party here is most confident of winning. Best Adapted Screenplay nominee Emma Thompson. Of course, she's also nominated for Best Actress, and that's the second time in a comparatively brief career that she's been a double nominee. In 1993, she was up for Best Actress in The Remains of the Day and Best Supporting Actress in The Name of the Father. But sadly, she didn't win either, so let's hope history is not about to repeat itself. Anyway, here she is talking about Sense and Sensibility, which took her 5 years to write.
Yeah, well, yes.
Did Emma write this?
No, she copied it out of a book.
I love Austen, always have done, and I thought it was, I didn't know whether I was capable of doing such a thing, and it would be good to have a go. But I never expected to end up in Greenwich in a corset.
I do not attempt to deny that I think very highly of him, that I greatly esteem him.
Esteem him? Like him?
Eleanor's not like you, me dear. She does not like to be swayed by her emotions.
There's something of great importance I need to tell you.
Emma's been fantastically kind of liberal with it, and has made this completely fresh and very funny and a very romantic piece. And I think that's why English actors all over the country were squabbling to be in it.
I cried a lot, particularly redoing the structure of it. It made me weep with frustration and despair. But everything else was so much fun, and writing dialogue and all that was great fun.
And I love Austen. She makes me laugh out loud.
Marianne, you must change. You will catch a cold.
What care I for colds when there is such a man?
You will care very much when your nose swells up.
You are right. Help me, Eleanor.
She's given herself a lot of very good lines, I noticed that.
Well, let's not forget that Mike Figgis and Michael Radford have also been nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay. Now, with me here, I have Ewan McGregor, star of Trainspotting most recently, and Shallow Grave, of course, before that. And what are you doing here, then? You're making a movie, obviously.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, I'm shooting a film called Night Watch at the moment.
I saw that. It was a Danish film, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
right,
yeah. The traditional American remake of the aforementioned film. But however, the director and producer of the original film are doing the remake, so it's nice to have they've got a flow through with it, you know.
Yeah. Is this your first experience of Hollywood?
Yeah. Yeah, I was here for a week sometime last year, but this is certainly my first time working here. Yeah.
So what do you make of it?
I don't know. It's awful nice to have something to do here. You know, to be working here is probably quite a good thing. I have no idea what it would be like with your days to fill, but I like it. I'm having a good time. So,
was there a bit, you know, to be here at this time when the whole town is just talking about Oscars? Sure. Was there a lot of buzz on the set about it?
There's not been an awful lot of buzz on the set. No, our sparks and technicians weren't awful enamoured by it, but. Certainly roundabout, we're meeting people roundabout town and stuff. There's been a hell of a buzz about it. Yeah.
It's quite astonishing, isn't it? You know, the way they're going about it. Now, do you have any particular favourites among the films? Anything that you would like to see carry home the trophy?
I don't know about best movie because I'm actually not very sure what's been nominated for best movie.
Well, there's Babe, Apollo 13, Braveheart, Sense of Sensibility, and of course Postman Pat, Il Postino.
Postman Pat. Well, Sense of Sensibility, of course, has to go away with the prize.
Right. Well, I think we're going to have to break it off here because Oscar is going to interrupt us again.
Right.
I may tell you that awards winner Thompson went down rather well back there, and so indeed did the unexpected appearance of Christopher Reeve. But now we're getting right into the heavy stuff because the next couple of awards include Best Director, and whoever wins that is automatically a very serious player in Hollywood. Now the favourite is Mel Gibson for Braveheart, but Britain has two contenders of its own. Mike Radford for Il Postino and Mike Figgis for Leaving Las Vegas. Figgis in particular had a heck of a job because he had no permission to film in Vegas, but went ahead and did it anyway.
One of the advantages of the way we made Leaving Las Vegas was that the entire film was shot in 28 days, so we had no time to linger. And it's such a crucial, for me it was a breakthrough, the idea of not having to linger on material. But, you know, prime your actors, know what you're doing, shoot it and get out of there as quickly as possible.
So why are you a drunk?
Why am I drunk? Is that really what you want to ask me?
Yes.
Well, then this is our first date, or our last. Until now, I wasn't sure it was either.
First. It's our first. I think he's just one of our most brilliant directors. I really, really do. And I feel so lucky that he gave me this gift of a part that he never auditioned anyone else for.
It looks like I'm with the right girl.
I'm interested in telling stories about people, you know, and about relationships. And to me, the most interesting thing in a film is a relationship and how you can, the nuances of how you tell that story, the same story over and over again, if you like.
Well, I think he might have thanked his wet nurse. Actually, that makes Braveheart the big winner of the night so far. It's got 4 awards, and I suppose it might be reasonable at this stage to predict that it's going to pick up Best Film, but we'll find out later on. Anyway, back now with Ewan McGregor. What do you make of it all so far?
I'm enjoying it a lot. Lots of people up there. It's good.
Did you watch it last year when David Letterman did the Whoopi Goldberg stuff?
No, I never saw it last year.
I think actually she's doing it rather better.
She seems to be having a great time, and that's nice to see.
She seems to be enjoying herself.
Yeah.
Now, are you enjoying yourself?
Yes, I am. Yeah, things are very good for me at the moment, and I can't complain. Yeah.
I mean, what have you done? It all started with Shallow Grave, I suppose, didn't it?
Yeah, it was my first feature film. Yeah.
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 And then Trainspotting. Did that come as a surprise to you? The way it was received?
It sounds very arrogant to say no, but not particularly. I mean, if you mean about the fact that there's drugs involved and whether the public are going to accept that or not, and I think in the basic thing is that it's a very good film because I really believe in Danny Boyle's directing. I love working with him, and Andrew McDonald's producing and John Hodges writing. The whole team is so strong, and I believe that Danny has a specific style, and I like that, and it seems to be that people like that too. So I don't know. After I'd seen it, I'm not particularly surprised, but I don't know.
But now you're over here, well away from Danny Boyle and Scotland and all the rest of it. Are you going to go the same route as Gary Oldman and Tim Roth and stay here, do you think?
I don't think so, no. I mean, I kind of saw coming here as I would see doing a movie anywhere. I would maybe go to Cornwall to do a movie, or I'd go to Dorset to do a movie, or I'd go to LA to do a movie, I see it in the same way, that I enjoy a script, reading a script, I'd like to be involved in it. So you go where they're making the movie. And I certainly don't have any intentions or plans to stay here. I'm going back to do another film in Ireland, funny enough, in the summer. So, I'm going straight home again afterwards.
Yeah, but I suspect that Gary Oldman and Tim Roth didn't have any plans to stay here, and they've been hanging around for quite some time.
Maybe. I don't know. I think I consider London as being my home, and I'd miss it a lot if I wasn't there.
Well, going back to that award to Emma Thompson for Sense and Sensibility, you yourself have just been in an Austen adaptation.
That's right.
Emma.
Yeah.
When are we likely to be able to see that?
I think maybe in the autumn. I really don't know for sure, but it's possible that they'll open it in Cannes. I don't know for sure, but perhaps. And so I imagine maybe in the autumn we'll see that.
Well, how did all that come about? I mean, who made it? Who wrote it? Who directed it? I know very little about it.
It was written by... who was it written by? There we go. It was written by...
somebody McGrath,
Doug McGrath.
Doug McGrath.
I'm sorry, Doug, if you're watching.
I did know more about it than you.
Absolutely terrible. A complete flop. Who co-wrote Woody Allen's movie, The Bullets Over Broadway, and who's a wonderful, wonderful director to work with.
But
Great
it couldn't
fun.
be much more different, could it? Woody Allen and Jane Austen.
Yeah, absolutely right. But he was great, and really saw the writer, escape from the typewriter. It was brilliant to work with him.
And a good script?
Very good. He made the dialogue very witty, particularly.
Well, that was not actually any big surprise because he always was the favourite for that award. Well, all that remains now is the biggest award of them all, the Oscar for Best Picture, which is reckoned to be worth up to $30 million at the box office to the winner. Even though Sense and Sensibility, which was made in Britain with an entirely British cast, is nominated, a British win is not an option because the film was financed by Columbia and is therefore, strictly speaking, American. Mind you, if it wins, I don't suppose narrow considerations of nationalism will mean a damn to the people at this party. But anyway, now, I'm happy to say I've been joined by actor and director Richard Benjamin. Richard, it's great to see you. Thank you for coming in. What have you made of the evening so far? Overall impressions, only one more award to go. Been a good night, bad night?
I think it's been a very good night. It's nice how spread it all is, that nothing's really run away with anything. And it seems to me that all of the nominees are so well-deserved, all of those nominations. And finally, I suppose you have to make a choice, but it's a hard thing to choose between talented people like this.
Well, it is. I think there's a case for stopping the whole thing at the nomination stage and saying, you are the 5 best, all take a prize home.
Yeah, listen, I think you should get a prize if you finish a movie.
Yeah, I do. Well, as a director, you would think, and an actor. Yeah. But I remember Humphrey Bogart once said that the only real way to judge the best actor was to get 5 nominees, then make them all play Hamlet, and then the best Hamlet wins the prize.
Yeah, but I think it's a wonderful evening, and there have been all kinds of award shows, but this show has a special meaning, I think, for people around the world. It's the history of movies, really.
Yes, indeed. Has there been anything that's really surprised or disappointed you in the course of the evening? Something you would have liked to win that didn't? Something that you...
I don't know. I have a special place in my heart, I think, for Sense and Sensibility. I think it was so beautifully done. And I think it's an extremely difficult thing to do, to turn that into a fine picture like that. And I thought Emma Thompson did such a beautiful job, and the director, Ang Lee, everybody. I have a place in my heart for that little babe. There was something miraculous about that movie. That movie is like a miracle. I mean, if you tried to pitch that movie to somebody and said it's a bunch of animals, you know, talking to each other, they'd say, well, see you later.
The other one that surprised me, I'm very pleased for Mike Radford, was Il Postino, because I thought it was a very nice little movie. I didn't think it was an Oscar movie. Did you?
Oh, it touched me. There was something very simple about it. Very simple about it that went to the heart. What I think is so amazing is the range of these movies, from something so American and patriotic like Apollo 13 to Sense and Sensibility, to Babe, to Il Postino. That's a pretty broad range. That's a very, I think, nice comment on the Academy.
Yes, yes it is.
I think they're all very well deserved.
And Mel Gibson must be feeling extraordinarily pleased tonight. But, I mean, Braveheart has been a remarkable success, hasn't it?
Yeah, and an amazing undertaking to do a picture like that is, I mean, that's like mounting some kind of battle in itself. I mean, I've directed a number of pictures, and I know what it takes to get anything going, but something of that scale is unbelievable.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
Richard, thank you very much
Goodbye.
indeed. And so, as we wait for the last award to be announced, that's about all from me. As ever, it's been a mixed night for Britain. 21 nominations, 6 Oscars. May not sound like much of a triumph, but I think it is. Winning or not winning here could depend on a single vote. And I believe the true significance of the night lies in those 21 nominations, because what they emphasise is the depth of talent available to a British film industry, if only that industry had the nous and the money to use it properly. Hope you enjoyed the show. From me and my guests in Hollywood, goodbye.